Chris Martin can orchestrate 80,000 souls singing in perfect unison. Yet when it mattered most, he couldn't find the melody to make Dakota Johnson stay. For nearly a decade, their romance played out in shadows and whispers, protected by Malibu sunsets, emerald promises, and surprisingly, Gwyneth Paltrow's blessing. But when irreconcilable dreams about tomorrow finally broke their sacred silence, the ending resonated louder than any stadium anthem. Stay with us, because the final verse of this love story will transform how you interpret every ballad he's ever written. The love story that would captivate millions began not with fanfare, but with California rolls and calculated discretion. In late October 2017, observant diners at Los Angeles' intimate taco sushi park witnessed something extraordinary. The Coldplay frontman and the 50 Shades of Grey star huddled over their meal, sharing laughter that seemed to flow in a language only they understood. What made the moment remarkable wasn't just their obvious chemistry, but their expert choreography of privacy. They slipped away in a weathered Jeep, headlights deliberately dimmed as they navigated toward Malibu's coastline, establishing what would become their signature move. Vanish first, explain never. Within weeks, their carefully guarded secret went international. Johnson materialized in a private box at Coldplay's Buenos Aires concert, her silhouette swaying through the ethereal notes of Fix You, while unsuspecting fans unknowingly captured her on their phones. The grainy footage spread across social media overnight, confirming what the sushi sighting had only suggested. She would traverse continents for him, yet never cross the velvet rope that separates private moments from public consumption. By December 2017, entertainment insiders were whispering to publications about the couple's budding romance. They were reportedly sharing new Coldplay demos for Johnson's screenplay feedback over FaceTime calls, while Martin completed his Asian tour dates. Yet their self-imposed rules remained ironclad. No red carpet appearances together, no birthday tributes on Instagram, and every smartphone placed face down during restaurant meals to prevent accidental reveals. The summer of 2018 offered glimpses behind their carefully constructed wall of privacy. In July, they joined actor Aaron Paul and his wife at a Radiohead concert in Boston, their intertwined fingers visible beneath the mezzanine lights. 2 months later, eagle-eyed observers spotted matching infinity symbol tattoos adorning their forearms, an inked promise so subtle that most tabloids overlooked it for an entire week. When Tatler magazine directly questioned Johnson about her relationship status that September, she responded with characteristic deflection wrapped in honesty. "I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm very happy." This response became their template, a confession disguised as a refusal that would define their public persona for years to come. The more the world demanded answers, the more fiercely they protected the quiet sanctuary where their love could exist without scrutiny. By early 2019, following their relationship had become a treasure hunt for devoted fans. One month, Dakota appeared backstage at a Coldplay arena show in Sao Paulo. The next, she occupied a darkened VIP box at London's Shepherd's Bush Empire, silently mouthing every word to the band's emotional anthems. Each rare sighting fueled speculation that Martin was weaving their story into his set lists, leaving breadcrumb clues for those paying attention. Insiders began reporting that Martin had started working on a track he privately called Universe, and many believe the title represented not cosmic inspiration, but a love letter to the woman who transformed his sound checks into personal concerts. This theory gained credibility on February 14, 2020, when Coldplay released the music video for Cry Cry Cry, featuring vintage ballroom aesthetics. The closing credits revealed a stunning surprise. Directed by Dakota Johnson and Corey Bailey, the revelation confirmed what attentive fans had suspected. Johnson wasn't merely Martin's muse, but an active collaborator shaping Coldplay's visual narrative. The video's storyline, depicting a couple surviving every decade together, felt like a subtle mission statement about their own relationship's longevity. Martin's social media response was characteristically minimal yet meaningful. 3 green heart emojis celebrating her directorial debut. The global pandemic could have derailed their momentum, but instead, it transformed Martin's Malibu mansion into an intimate creative laboratory. Johnson tested Coldplay's rough demos through basic earbuds while editing her independent film scripts. Martin reciprocated by helping compose temporary soundtracks for her projects. Friends joked that every corner of their home served a different artistic purpose. Vocals recorded in the kitchen during afternoon sessions, screenplay notes exchanged over patio coffee at sunset. This creative cross-pollination enriched both of their artistic endeavors in unexpected ways. Johnson's film work gained an ethereal, atmospheric quality, while Martin's compositions began incorporating the rhythmic cadence of cinematic dialogue. They had discovered something rare in Hollywood relationships: genuine artistic symbiosis that enhanced rather than competed with their individual talents. The private code they had maintained for years finally cracked in public on October 12, 2021. Mid-performance in London, Martin paused his set, pointed toward the balcony, and announced to thousands, "This is about my universe, and she's here." As the opening chords of the BTS collaboration, My Universe, filled the arena, Johnson pressed her palms together in gratitude and danced as if only she could decode the song's true meaning. 24 hours later, Martin quietly attended the UK premiere of Johnson's film, The Lost Daughter. He avoided the red carpet entirely, appearing as merely a supportive shadow at her shoulder, with two proud parents nearby. In one remarkable 48-hour period, the couple demonstrated their ability to flood social media with romantic speculation while speaking fewer than 20 words publicly. With that masterclass in controlled revelation, they retreated behind their curtain once again. By February 2021, speculation about Johnson's living arrangement ended when People magazine confirmed she had moved into Martin's stunning $122 million glass mansion overlooking Point Dume. The six-bedroom architectural marvel featured a basement recording studio and a sun-drenched courtyard where Martin's children, Apple and Moses, had installed a skateboard halfpipe. Johnson's influence became evident throughout the space. Vintage Moroso lamps, floor-to-ceiling cinematography books, and an enormous linen sofa, the family nicknamed the Submarine, because movie nights invariably ended with everyone half asleep under shared blankets. Living together dissolved the traditional boundaries between my family and yours, creating something entirely new. The 2021 Christmas holiday in Aspen showcased this modern family dynamic perfectly. Gwyneth Paltrow, her husband Brad Falchuk, the two teenagers, Chris and Dakota, all coordinated in matching navy ski jackets. Paparazzi captured Apple linking arms with Dakota during a coffee run, while Paltrow shared an Instagram story captioned, "Holiday Squad Goals." The tabloids braced for ex-wife drama that never materialized. Paltrow doubled down on the positive family dynamics during an October 2023 Instagram Q&A session, beaming at 8 million followers. "We're actually very good friends. I love her so much. She's an adorable, wonderful person." Internet commenters marveled at what they dubbed the world's most gracious ex-wife situation. But insiders insisted the bond was genuinely authentic. Weekly blended family dinners rotated between Paltrow's Brentwood backyard and Martin's Malibu fire pit, featuring everything from vegan paella to Dakota's signature heirloom tomato pasta. Behind these gatherings, Johnson's role with Apple and Moses quietly expanded. Friends noticed her language shift from "your kids" to "our crew" in casual conversation. At a March 2023 school benefit, Johnson was observed coaching Apple through college selection materials, while Martin tuned a borrowed acoustic guitar for the talent show finale. When reporters later inquired about motherhood, Johnson's response was telling: "I already love two teenagers like my life depends on it. Whatever label you give that, I'll take it." Whispers of engagement began with a flash of green that stopped tabloids in their tracks. In December 2020, paparazzi lenses caught Johnson strolling through a Santa Monica farmer's market, coffee in hand, and barely visible beneath her sweater cuff, an electric green stone that belonged in a jewelry museum. Gem experts identified an oval-cut emerald, estimated between 8 and 10 carats, its soft facets embraced by a platinum halo setting. Industry jewelers estimated the ring's value between $300,000 and $500,000. The choice of emerald over diamond was particularly intriguing, as emeralds crack easily when mishandled, making them perfect insurance for secrecy. True to form, the ring vanished as quickly as it had appeared, launching a year-long guessing game about their engagement status. Some insiders claimed Martin had proposed on Christmas Eve 2009, concealing the ring inside a vintage poetry collection in what friends described as the most Chris move ever. Others suggested there had been no formal proposal at all, just a quiet mutual understanding reached during a midnight walk along Point Dume's cliffs. The couple, maintaining their pattern of strategic silence, confirmed nothing. August 2024 brought breakup rumors when the pair spent 2 consecutive months on opposite coasts, Martin headlining European festivals, while Johnson filmed a thriller in Atlanta. Just as gossip reached fever pitch, Dakota stepped out in Malibu, wearing casual denim and a plain white t-shirt, that emerald sparkling defiantly on her finger. One eyewitness told People magazine she deliberately angled her hand toward cameras, like a poker player showing only the ace. The ring became their relationship's most visible symbol, appearing at intimate moments throughout 2024 and early 2025. New Year's Eve found them bundled around a Montauk Beach bonfire, the emerald flickering in firelight as Apple captured Polaroids. In March 20, Johnson wore it to a London charity gala, supporting Martin's global equality initiatives, their hands clasped during his speech. Love thrived inside their Malibu sanctuary until external pressures burst their protective bubble. Fall 2023 found Johnson juggling promotional duties for Madame Web while simultaneously filming an independent thriller in Toronto. Martin was designing Coldplay's ambitious Eco Tour, planning 150 shows across 5 continents with revolutionary, sustainable production methods. Initially, the geographical separation felt manageable. Red-eye flights carried handwritten lyrics tucked into suitcases, while FaceTime calls featured her film slate clacking in the background and his arena crowds roaring in the distance. But by winter, those calls consistently ended with the same frustrating question: when are we actually in the same place again? The time constraints exposed a fundamental incompatibility that had been simmering beneath their harmonious surface. During a March 2024 interview, Johnson expressed her desire for motherhood. "I'm so open to becoming a mom and want to experience everything life has to offer." Friends detected urgency between those carefully chosen words. Martin, already devoted to Apple and Moses, felt his family chapter was complete. According to insiders, every discussion about wedding dates inevitably circled back to this irreconcilable question: expand their family or invest in more tour equipment? The divide wasn't about love, but about fundamentally different visions of their shared future. Emotional strain began showing in public moments. At the Hope for Depression Research Foundation luncheon in November 2023, Johnson shared an anecdote about Martin recognizing her mood had crashed simply from her morning t-shirt choice. He had responded with an impromptu beach walk and companionable silence until she was ready to speak. While the audience applauded this sensitivity, observers noted she was essentially praising him for managing damage their impossible schedule kept causing. Behind the scenes, the couple attempted relationship therapy, squeezing sessions between tour rehearsals and night shoots. One source described calls where Dakota sat on an Atlanta prop room floor, while Chris dialed in from Stockholm hotels, both speaking through delayed audio connections while fighting exhaustion. Progress stalled when Martin's management added another stadium leg to the tour, just as Johnson signed a 3-film package, keeping her abroad through late 2025. By April 2025, even their famously harmonious blended family felt the strain. Apple posted a TikTok joke about their Sunday dinners becoming "Where in the world is my dad and Dakota?" The lighthearted quip accumulated 2 million sympathetic likes. Their shared Malibu home began resembling a transit lounge more than a residence. Unopened guitar cases leaned against walls, film script binders stacked by the front door, and a spreadsheet stuck to the refrigerator titled "Possible weeks we're both free." None of the dates aligned. The relationship's final note came in late May 2025 after another postponed wedding planning conversation. Page 6 later reported that Johnson was sick of him dragging his feet, frustrated that their 6-year engagement felt like an endless sound check with no showtime. Martin, equally exhausted by the logistics, suggested they pause and breathe. 2 days later, he departed for tour rehearsals in Denver. She removed the emerald ring and flew to New York for contract meetings. They never synchronized their calendars again. That gap, time zones wide, expectations wider, represented more than physical distance. It echoed 2 parallel dreams, finally drifting beyond harmonious range. The end arrived not with a press release, but with a whisper that detonated across the internet. On June 4th, 2025, People magazine dropped their exclusive. After nearly 8 years of orbiting each other through concerts, premieres, and postponed wedding plans, Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson were officially finished. Insiders emphasized, "It feels final this time." Visual confirmation appeared within 24 hours. Johnson emerged into Manhattan's humid summer air wearing loose linen and bare fingers. The $500,000 emerald had vanished. Paparazzi captured every angle, while TikTok body language experts analyzed how she kept her hands deliberately clasped, almost daring photographers to notice the absence. One industry insider told Yahoo that the engagement collapsed over their never-ending debate about picking a wedding date, with Johnson exhausted by the limbo and Martin unable to commit between tour obligations. The same report hinted at deeper frustrations over their diverging timelines regarding starting a family. By mid-June, The Malibu mansion sat eerily empty. Real estate surveillance drones captured packed surfboards and a padlocked studio door, while Martin's tour buses rolled eastward and Johnson's press junkets hopped continents. The quiet that once protected their love now sounded like a closing curtain. Today, their former Malibu sanctuary echoes only with movers' footsteps. Surfboards sit boxed, the studio doors sealed. Yet insiders report the pair still exchange courteous texts about Gwyneth's holiday plans and Apple's college applications. It's proof that love can transform into something quieter, if not smaller. This leaves the most intriguing question resonating between every new lyric and late-night talk show appearance. Can two artists who guarded their romance so fiercely learn to let its ending resonate publicly without speaking a single word? Or does true privacy demand eternal silence, turning every future Coldplay chorus and red carpet smile into a Rorschach test for the rest of us? Whatever answer you hear probably reveals more about you than about them, because sometimes the loudest part of any love story is the space it leaves behind, and the songs that will forever carry echoes of what once was, but could never quite become forever. Perhaps that's the most honest conclusion any long love story can reach, not with declarations or explanations, but with the simple acknowledgement that some chapters close, not because they were poorly written, but because they had reached their natural end. 8 years of trying, of breaking apart and coming back together, of whispered conversations and public silence, had taught them both that love doesn't always mean forever, and forever doesn't always mean love failed. In the months that follow, there will be careful choreography around award shows and mutual friends' parties. There will be new songs that fans will dissect for hidden meanings, and red carpet appearances that tabloids will analyze for signs of lingering heartbreak or newfound freedom. But the real story, the one that matters to the two people who lived it, will remain theirs alone, protected by the same fierce privacy that once guarded their happiness. This is how modern love stories end in the age of constant visibility, not with a bang or a tell-all interview, but with the quiet dignity of two people who loved each other enough to let each other go. And maybe, in a world obsessed with oversharing and public breakdowns, there's something revolutionary about choosing silence, about letting the work speak louder than the wounds. The Malibu house will find new owners. The studio will record new songs. Apple will graduate and move on to her next chapter. But somewhere in the margins of memory, in the space between what was said and what was left unsaid, their story will continue. Not as a cautionary tale or a romantic tragedy, but as a reminder that some of life's most profound chapters are written in invisible ink, meant to be felt rather than read, lived rather than analyzed. And perhaps that's exactly as it should be.